So we created the Easy Stepper IV poll. Let's meet our team first.
Hi, I'm Nicole Gorski. I'm a senior nursing student here at Miami. I was in charge of making the physical prototype, working with product ideation, population outreach, and testing our original prototype.
My name's Chloe Burwinkle. I am also a senior nursing student, and I was in charge of research, product ideation, population outreach, and testing.
So our healthcare challenge is that falls are one of the main problems patients face in the hospital when it comes to increased risks. And one of the biggest leading causes with falls is IV poles. Either patients are tripping over them, getting their foot snagged, and the spindles on the bottom, and just having a lot of trouble with them overall. Most patients interact with an IV pole at some point during their healthcare journey. So this is one of the most widespread used equipment devices in the hospital. And the current design has a potential to cause falls due to the spindles at the bottom, and it really doesn't have much stability when the patient is trying to hold on to it while they're ambulating to the bathroom or in the hallway or anything that they might be doing throughout their time at the hospital.
So our patients need a less disruptive environment with better accessibility and a lower risk of falling related to IV pools and pumps. We interviewed our target population, and a lot of them were frustrated with the current use of IV pools and pumps in the hospital. Their satisfaction of care was decreased, and they also had increased anxiety due to the noises that the pumps make and the fact that they're tethered to something. Most of them wanted something that would increase their independence or decrease their risk of falls because they wanted to be safe while using this equipment. Um, so how many patients does this affect? As you can see here, there are 2.79 million IV poles within hospitals nationally. So that is a lot of patients that are interacting with an IV pole during their hospital stay. And then on the right here, you can see that falls comprise the largest category of preventable adverse events in hospitals. So we wanted to help decrease that with our IV pole design. So current solutions in the literature, we couldn't find a lot of people that were focusing on the fall risk, but some literature did talk about how people walked and what their gait was like when using an IV pole right now. And one of the current solutions is improving the turning methods and the gait used while using an IV pole to decrease the risk of falling. One study found that if you turn left without stopping, the likelihood of the spindles of the IV pole coming into contact with your patient's leg is increased, and that increases your risk of falls. So we wanted to have a different solution that removed the spindles altogether.
So here's our solution, and this is our product, the Easy Stepper IV pole. So we kind of wanted to work with the way that patients, when they're walking with the IV pole to the bathroom or in the hallway, we kind of typically they kind of grab onto it and put their weight on it and use it almost as like a walker or a cane. So we kind of wanted to work with that natural motion that most of them tend to make. So we added a handle onto it, so it adds stability and kind of gives them something to grab onto while they're walking. And the biggest thing we added was a wide tapered base, which makes the product more stable and allows them to kind of put more weight on it. And we were thinking that we would add a heavier material to the bottom and the base, like sand, or just fill it with plastic completely. So it adds more weight to it and makes it safer for the patient. Also, if you'll notice, it has a smooth base all around. So there's no spindles that the patient would be getting their foot caught on or anything like that. So our implementation costs and needs, we predict that the hospital system would pay the cost of this product since they will be keeping it at the hospital, just like, the hospital beds, the patients aren't paying for those, things that just stay in the hospital full time. So we would predict that they would pick up the cost for that. This product would improve patient safety, and this would save the hospital a lot of money in the long run. If you look at our research from a few slides back, we talked about how much patient injury, in hospitals that could have been prevented, how much it costs just everybody involved. And of course, the patient is injured, and that is always a bad thing. The resources that we would need would be warehouses, factories to make the product, employees to oversee the making of the product, and salespeople to kind of get the word out and tell everybody what our product does and why it's so much better than the other IV pole. So here's a general recap of our product. So let's talk about our product first. It's an IV pole with handles, as a wide taper base to add stability, and it has added weight in the bottom so that It makes it heavy enough so that the patient can, kind of put some weight on it, and it makes it a little bit more stable, but not so heavy that it's hard for the patient to walk with or push. Our goal would to be to increase stability and safety for patient use. So this way, the patient feels better about getting up and ambulating to the bathroom in the hallway, things like that. And a lot of times that fear of falling is a reason that patients like to stay in bed. And we all know that getting up as soon as we can is always best. So that would, kind of give them that confidence in being able to get better quicker. Our perceived result of implementing this product would be decreased falls in hospital and healthcare settings, and increased patient satisfaction. Of course, when you feel safe, you are a lot happier than if you always have that fear that you're going to fall or get injured. The benefit of this product would be speedy recovery times for patients, because if someone is in there for a different healthcare problem and they fall and get injured, that just prolongs their stay in the hospital, and that's a second thing they need to heal from. So we'd see a lot of improvement in that. Improved perception of the hospital environment. A lot of people are afraid of doctors, hospital environments. It's a very sterile, kind of environment. So this would kind of, like I said prior, would kind of ease that fear. And the hospital would save a lot of money in the long run just by preventing all of these injuries in the first place. So if you see, our contact information is down at the bottom. There's both me and Chloe's emails. And if you go to the next slide, that'll be our references. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.